Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about building rapport. It's going to be based off of an article that I wrote recently and the three fundamental components to building rapport and why it's so important. Rapport is very important because it is without rapport, there is no relationship of any kind. There's no friendship, there's no romantic relationship, there's no business relationship. Being in rapport with somebody means that you're coherent with them. You have a mutual understanding that goes beyond words. There is a mutual sense of care, of reciprocity there. When you're in rapport with somebody, you typically you like them. You're more likely to be responsive to them. They're more likely to be responsive to you. Rapport is based off of trust. And that's why rapport is so important, because without trust, there's no relationship period, right? So let me go through rapport. Let me go through the three key components, and then I'll break each one down. So I'll highlight a couple of things in my article here, but I'm not going to read it, of course. So in order to build rapport with everyone, realize a few things, okay? Number one, rapport is something that you build constantly with people. It's not one and done, which means it's not like, okay, I have to build rapport, so let me just do it and then get it over with. Rapport is something that has to happen constantly. If you notice that whenever you get together with a friend that you haven't seen for a while or a family member that you haven't seen, typically there's a lot of this back and forth banter. There's humor that goes around. There's, maybe you're touching somebody on the shoulder, giving them a hug. There's a lot of that going on. Now, if you were just to be completely stoic and not engage in any of these types of behaviors, rapport building behaviors, then what would happen is the connection that you have with that person would not be established, because it's like anything in life. If you want to maintain something, you have to work at it. You can't just do it. You can't build something one time and then it'll be fine forever. Computers are like that. Even machines are like that. That's why they have a whole program in manufacturing facilities called preventative maintenance programs. They're called PMPs, right? The preventative maintenance programs. So even those things have to be maintained. So remember that if you don't actively do things to make sure that that rapport is strong, then the relationship will degrade. And presumably you want to keep your relationship so it's not one and done. That's the first thing. Second thing is people, they want you to care about them first before you care about their outcomes. So really, this kind of goes two ways. It's their outcomes and your outcomes. So you may have an outcome in a business relationship. Now, they don't care really about what you want. They don't care at all about what you want until they know that you care about what they want and who they are. So until you show other people that you are interested in them and that you care about them, it's very unlikely that they're going to do the same for you. So you can't wait for somebody else to make the first move. You always have to, make the first move. You always have to extend that olive branch before you expect one to be extended to you. So they want you to care about them first before you care about their outcomes, or before before they care about your outcomes. So, and again, it's not about, hey, nice to meet you, what do you want? Because again, they're like, okay, well, maybe I do have an outcome, but that's not the right way to build rapport with somebody. Number three, the emotion involved is more important than the content of what you say. So you may have heard this in different circles said in different ways, but it is true. It doesn't really matter, or the old expression, doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it. So I could say the same thing in 5 different ways and you'd have a different feeling depending on how I said it. So the emotion involved is more important than the content of what you say. So don't think about saying the right things. Think about bringing the right energy, bring the right attitude, bring the right perspective, right? And when you do that, you actually don't have to say much at all. So keep that in mind. You build it constantly. They gotta make sure that you care. They want to know that you care about them, and the motion is more important than what you say. So I have 3 rules here for rapport building. The first rule is, and it goes back to the 3 points that I just highlighted. So they're all associated. So each of these 3 rules are associated with each one of these points that I've stated. Rule number 1, building rapport means creating a bond between you and someone else. What do you think happens when you stop caring about your family and friends? Your relationships deteriorate. It's no different with anyone else, because they're also human beings. In fact, it's more important to keep the rapport strong with people you're not close to, since your close friends and family trust and respect you more than most people. So what does that mean with everyone else? It means you have to constantly nurture their relationship. Like they're your friends. You don't just care about your friends because they can do stuff for you, unless you're a sociopath, in which case you have no real friends. So you have to constantly nurture the relationships, right? That's why even in marketing, they have this thing called nurturing the leads. Now, that's very transactional. I don't really want to talk about that because I don't like that. And it's very fake. And you know that there's a purpose behind what they're doing. But the point is, like, the concept is still the same, even in those circles where the relationship is effectively purely transactional. So when it's not, and you want to build these good relationships, you have to nurture those relationships just like a child, just like any living thing, that you have to take care of it. Flowers, a plant, like you got to water the plants, you got to look at the pH, you got to do things to actually care about that relationship. So it's an ongoing thing. You don't water the plant one time and then you never have to water it again. You have to keep watering the plant. Rule number 2, show everyone you care about them and their lives. What do you ask your friends and family when you haven't seen them for a while? Or what would you like for them to ask you? Probably, if you're normal, you check in with them. How's life? What did you do on the weekend? How are you feeling today? Yeah, I hate that restaurant too. They used to be good. You should check out the park down there. I went there last weekend. I know what you mean. I went through the same thing with my girlfriend. What happened there? Right? So you get the point. You're showing care. If you like people, you're more likely to go out of your way for them, to go the extra mile for them and care about their goals. So what I'm trying to say here is this is really more in the context of a business relationship, but also any other type of relationship. It's that if you want, if you like people and you show that you care about them and you actually and truly do, I'm not talking to the sociopaths out there. Hopefully not. You're more likely to go out of your way for them. So, which means that the more you like somebody, the more you're going to want to do things for them. And the more you like somebody, the more likely they are to like you, especially if they're willingly in that interaction and exchanging with you. And the more likely that they are to do something for you. So it's like this reciprocal relationship. Doesn't it feel nice to be cared about? If it does, then why wouldn't you care about other people? You have to give first before you receive. You can't expect somebody to give you something that you haven't given them. So if you want trust, extend trust. If you want confidence, extend confidence. So if you want something, you give it first. Rule number 3, how they feel matters more than what you say. So I'm just restating the previous points up top. The purpose of your interactions before anything else should be to share good emotions. You need to train yourself to actually enjoy human interaction, and the only way to do that is to emote with people. Emoting with people just means you show emotion with them, right? You laugh with them, you cry with them, you sing with them, you dance with them. I don't know, I just came up with a little ditty there, but you emote with people, right? Share a laugh, a smile, some kind words, a genuine compliment. If they completed some assignment or task that helps your agenda, say, for example, you're working with somebody, that's great. But remember that people care about how you make them feel first, because no one wants to feel terrible or worthless. So it doesn't matter that somebody did something for you. They want to feel validated. That's why, saying thank you to somebody, to the other person, and you extend a genuine thank you, or like, wow, this dish is amazing. It was delicious. When you say something and it's actually very genuine, people feel good, right? They feel validated. They feel like, oh, they're worthy in the presence of you. Now, you may think that we can dive into these concepts, but the point is, like, how is somebody feeling in the presence of you is more important than the things that you're talking about and the things that you're saying. Things you're talking about is important, especially if you're having like more of an intellectual conversation, but that feeling is really what builds and holds the relationship together. So no matter how much you know, how smart you are, how right you are, no one cares unless they like or respect you, right? So think about that in the context of relationships, personal relationships, friendships, business. No matter how much you know or how smart you are, how right you are, no one cares about that unless they like or respect you. So unless they actually do care about you, and I say respect, and I use that term loosely. I don't really want to break that down right now, but it just basically means that people respect you because of the type of character that you show. So the character that you're demonstrating garners respect from somebody else. So they may listen to you temporarily, but their heart won't be in it. Then what? then you'll be affected for a while, but you'll never reach the highest levels you aspire to reach because they will treat engagement with you like a transaction. Do the bare minimum required, and you will fail by default, right? So that's especially in the context of business, right? Whether you have a subordinate or what have you. Remember, you don't want people to be doing the minimum in a business that you're in. You want people to like want to show up and want to do their best. By making them feel good, you feel good as a result. Think about it. It's kind of like they call it the law of state transference, but it's actually true, right? Energy is sticky. You're around somebody who's just positive, good vibes, they laugh, all of a sudden you find yourself feeling better. You're around somebody like negative, complaining all the time, and you find yourself to start being negative and you don't want to be around this person. So energy is very sticky, so be careful. So that's it. Those are the 3 rules. If you want to read the article, it's on my newsletter. So you can go to the link in the description and click on that. And you can see my article there. It's my first one. I'm working on another one right now, but I hope this video was helpful in the meantime. And if you have any questions, again, always feel free to let me know. If you have any feedback, if you want me to cover something, you're confused, just let me know, DM me. And that's it. If you like the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow as usual.